We go through the standings here, mate.
You kind of took Dry July a bit too seriously, I feel.
I did. I think I did, mate. But Miller Gaines, he's just running away with it, mate. That's what is it? I can't even count. It's about 60 points, 70 points.
69 points is the.
Yeah, 70 points.
Yeah, is the
like
the advantage, which is it's 2 races that advantage now, which is just ridiculous. It's proving just how rapid Miller Gaines has been all season long. We've got Mr. Fury Strat down there in second. He's got Kraken right on his back gearbox now, to the tune of about 10 points. And then you've got a couple of guys down a bit lower fighting for 4th, 5th and 6th. They're all within about 4 points of each other, and they're really the only noticeables in the top 5 at the moment.
Yeah. What was that?
But
speaking of drivers coming up,
your voice just cracked.
My voice just carked it for a second there, mate. But speaking of drivers stepping up from Tier 3, Absolute up there in 6th in the championship. Started off in Tier 3, but his pace was just so good he got moved up. But we go on to the track action, mate, and it's going to be Flourish Expire to kick us off here in Portugal.
Absolutely, and you want to stay as far off those curbs as you can out of the final corner, because it will invalidate your next lap, as we saw a couple of drivers do last night. Comes across the line, DRS wide open. He's going to pick the latest possible braking point. You just lift off here into turn 1 and into 2 rather than braking. Nice hard apex there for turn 3. Coming around to turn 4 now. You want to lift off a little bit here as well, just so you don't compromise your lap by going too wide on that ripple strip. Down the hill, nice late braking. You must hit that apex to get the most out of it. Rotate the car, get on the power nice and early, cutting this this curb on the left here. Little bit of a touch on the brake here, and a big braking zone here. You can get that one very, very wrong indeed, that right-hander. Rotates the car around nicely again, stays off that curb on the left hand side, and just brakes. And you can rotate the car through this corner. It's not the most crucial braking zone that you need on this circuit. Left-hander, as we're coming into the 3rd sector now, he's done very well there, and this is where I was talking about a little bit earlier. You can't afford to compromise your exit too much on this exit of that curb, because you will invalidate your lap and the next lap for good measure. But he's done very, very well, and Flourish Expire has set a 1:18.5 to be the banker time, mate. Immediately pipped by a couple of lads.
Yeah, beaten by Fury, beaten by Creole boy. And Reedy's already retired from the session out of turn 1, mate. So we've already lost him, and I think there was an Alpine spinning at some point on the circuit as well, mate. And as we're saying that, the Steed goes up into 5th. Dino, he goes to a 17.5. So the times are they're coming in rapid here, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anyone in the chat can hear us, is there any threat of rain in this qualifying session? Because it's looking rather overcast, mate.
Yeah, we saw the similar things in Q1 last night, and then it got nice and sunny for the end of the session, mate. But we'll wait and see. We know it's going to be wet for the race. But hashtag Ask Deezy has his balls dropped. Not yet, mate. They're still in the vice. And hashtag Ask Deezy, what are the chances of Mofo finishing tomorrow night? They're about 3%, mate. I've put it into the algorithm, and it's spat out that marvellous number. And he's got about a 97% chance of bringing out the safety car at some point, Moose.
Well, on the safety car, did it really make a massive...
Speaking of rain, mate.
Someone's out.
It's raining as well.
I don't have any rain, and I'm in the 3rd sector, but there's a Ferrari off at turn 2.
Yeah, dirty orange, mate.
It is dirty orange.
It is, but yeah, it's raining in sector 1 down here, mate. So these lap times are good. They need to get them on quickly.
Absolutely, they do, and I'm not sure if dirty orange has ended up with a bit of front wing damage. But yeah, he's gone very, very wide, and yes, he is missing the end plate on that left-hand side of his front wing.
He sure is, mate. On board with tabs here.
Safety car situation last night, mate. It after that first one, it was a little bit chaotic. We heard from a couple of the boys that Bert Mylander just went and hung out on the back straight and had a bit of a sandwich. But it was chaos to say the least last night, mate.
That it was, mate. He was just out there having a good time of it out in the sun in Portugal. Speaking of having a good time, here comes Tads around the final corner, up the incline to cross the start-finish line and goes fastest by 2/10 of a second.
Nice.
And it looked like a good lap, and it sure was, mate. So good lap there from the man in the Alston Martin. Who's out there on the lap?
Just we saw, I think it was Darkness Abyss, mate. Yeah, he had a little malfunction of the junction at turn 1, and we've seen a couple of drivers just have a bit of an off there at turn 1, and Darkness is another one of those victims.
Yeah, it's raining a bit here, Moose, but it's not enough to get it wet at the moment.
I actually can't see any rain at all. Oh, actually, I've just jumped on board with the driver, and I can see a little...
it's easy to see if you go on board.
Yeah,
it's just a light drizzling at the moment.
Very light.
These are actually similar conditions to what we saw at the start in 2020 here, Moose. And I'm not sure if you remember, but Raikkonen moved up about 11 places in the first 2 laps, and Sainz took the lead from the Mercedes and the Red Bulls. So the softs here, you can fire them up much easier since they're just in the middle of the Pirelli range versus a harder compound.
Yeah, too right, but strategically wise, you definitely want to be on that medium compound tyre. I realise that it's not really going to make a difference if the race is wet like we are predicting, but the time difference between the soft and the medium is only about 0.2 of a second. So the medium compound tyre can go about 8 or 9 laps further than the soft. Having said that, the tyre wear on this track is pretty much non-existent, so... go for your life, really.
And that's just due to they've brought a very hard compound here, mate. So harder compounds, you can just push on them and not really suffer any tyre wear or graining. So good thing for them. I think there's an Alpine just moving completely off the circuit to stay out of the way of cars coming.
He's misjudged where the pit entry is.
He's gone for the old pit entry, mate.
Yeah. He's gone from the start of the final corner. Yeah, that's funny.
Well, he did say, obviously, being the Alpine captain, I've got a little bit of knowledge. He said he hasn't done much practice, and that shows. Maybe he needs to practice the pit entry before the race.
To be fair, I made the mistake. Well, I thought I'd made a mistake last night, thinking that I'd come in way later than I should have. Yeah, it's a very tricky pit lane if you don't know where it is, as we saw with Darkness Abyss just then.
Hashtag Ask Daisy, when's the straight line bar setup coming? Want to forget what happened yesterday? Well, you can steal someone else's setup next week, mate. I ain't going public with mine. Dropped off with Donny here, mate, coming up through turn 13 where you performed a spectacular dive bomb last night.
You like that,
now
huh?
I loved it, mate. But now at turn 14, this understeery right-hander, you just got to wait, be patient with the throttle, especially in these a little bit damp conditions. You're going to have to wait a little bit longer and be careful with your right foot.
Sector 3, it is really starting to come down. And really, we're not seeing any of those times being improved on. So... are we seeing that the track is just a little bit greasier than these guys can handle at the moment?
The
Dirty Orange,
still there, but
but guys like Dirty Orange, you will set a lap time, but is it going to be good enough to improve himself out of this Q1 session?
I think for Dirty Orange just to get out of Q1 would be very good, mate. Considering he's coming up from the tier below this, so to get out of Q1 would be a good from the man in the Ferrari tonight, but. He hasn't even got the ERS turned on at the moment, mate, so not quite sure what's going on there. Creole Boy, he's out of spin, mate, up at turn 4, which is pretty easy to do, especially for those running no traction control.
Yeah, absolutely. So not too many drivers out on track at the moment. Only the 3, 4, 5 of them out there at the moment. One of them hasn't set a lap time. One of them being Dirty Orange, who I'm suspecting will be just about to come across the line now and set probably what will be his best lap time of this session. With these conditions just starting to get away from these drivers. He's done a 1:21.1, which for those playing along at home is a 3 seconds behind what he needs to get out of this Q1 session.
Yeah, mate. So maybe it might stop raining. Who knows? Maybe it's going to stay like this. Maybe it's going to be even into more wet conditions for the second part of qualifying. But people were saying it's not supposed to be raining a lot during this qualifying session. It is supposed to be raining during the race. So I don't think we're really going to see the mediums in Q2, Moosey, because if it's going to be wet, there's no risking it.
No. Pending on what happens with his weather, I'm almost inclined to think we might see mediums towards the end of Q2. Inters from the end of Q2 into Q3.
I would love to see that. It might just, who knows? Might keep raining.
Thank you, Mini Sando, for the tier 1 sub.
Thank you. I'm going to come into your room and smack you in the head. But thank you. Just like you've been smashing your day all day playing FIFA, mate. I've been hearing it all day. So let's see what Dirty Orange has got. I think he's just not going to be able to find the time to get through in these conditions, mate.
No. I tend to agree with you, mate. Because we're seeing a lot of these drivers come in. It is just too greasy out there at the moment to improve on your lap time.
Yeah, well, Brad Tay goes a second slower than he'd done previously. And at this point, you'd normally be seeing evolution. But just with this rain, we're not seeing it at the moment, Moose. And at the moment, it's Suicide 5, Brad Tay, Donny, Dirty Orange, and Reedy, who crashed out early in the danger zone.
Absolutely, and just a bit of depressing information for those playing along at home. My Q1 time from last night would currently be good enough for P3. That's how...
Love it.
Yeah, as we're seeing Suicide 5 have a little spin. So, mate, I don't know if I've just done a little bit more practice than I should have here last night, or whether this track has just become a little bit too greasy earlier than expected for these drivers.
Where'd that pace go in Q3, Moosey?
Oh, mate, I invalidated, and I don't want to talk about it because I had a second in me. I'm convinced I had a second in me.
That's it, mate. Hashtag Ask Moose. Get your question. We would love to hear from you in the chat, and we've got in the chat, Moosey. What was the reason the Kraken won again last week? That's because you weren't here, B-Fly. The curse of Mum was lifted, and he got the win. But you're back tonight, which means he's not going to win. And because I've said that, it's definitely going to happen, because the commentator's curse is real.
Oh, it's a real thing.
People think it's a myth. It's not.
The amount of drivers that we have crashed out with that commentator's curse is ridiculous.
Well, it's going to be wet, Moose, so start laying out knockouts here in Q1 in round 1 early. Should we just start knocking them out early?
All right, let's open a sports bet market.
It is sound easy from AFR. Budding Snags, how are you, brother? Hope as well. As Fury parks in the pit lane, retires.
Just quietly, how good are Bunnings snags?
Oh, you can't get a better snag.
We have another hashtag Ask Deezy, hashtag Ask Moose. Tier 3 lobby host handed over. It might
be a bit like the Olympic torch, mate. It might be about to be passed.
I have put my hand up to host the party. Watch this space because I haven't heard anything about it. But yeah, I think it was more a Cody's issue last night, possibly. But that might just be me being kind.
Who knows, mate?
I won't touch that anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a bit too wet now, mate. The track's about to it's getting that sheen that we talk about when it's in these conditions, and it's just getting a bit shiny. But yeah, don't expect to be drivers improving here. We might get a bit of wet in Q2, mate, but we're hearing from the drivers that will dry up before the end of Q3. So who knows? This could throw a spanner in the works. Someone might get out in Q2 that we might not suspect. So at the moment, and it's probably going to stay this way, it's going to be Suicide 5, Brad Tay, Donny, Dirty Orange, and Reedy out of Q1.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that will change at all.
It's not gonna dry in the next 2 minutes. So no. I think, unfortunately, for those drivers, they just didn't put in the lap times at the start of the session, mate, and it cost them.
Well, that's exactly it. That shows why you have to get out there nice and early, and you know we bang on about it every week to say, you know, get out there nice and early, set a lap time, blah 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 blah. Just for situations like this, or a yellow flag, or you know, an incident of some description that'll cost you a decent lap at the end of the session, and we're seeing that with a lot of these drivers tonight.
We sure are, mate. So Bretto will stay on board with him. He's giving it another go, but it's a 6th lap on the tyres, so who knows? Maybe he's just getting a bit of practice in. He can put some slicks on in similar conditions in the race, mate, because they're still definitely dry enough for the slicks versus the inters, but it is borderline.
Brad Tay's around.
Well, there you go. He's just proved it there. He's just proved my point. It was borderline, and up through turn 4, just had a bit of a slide, and I think that's going to be the end of the action on the track as he just comes back towards the pit lane now, mate.
Yeah, it is incredibly moist out there now, mate.
What it could be a case of the DRS still enabled here, Moose. Getting out early in Q2, it might still be dry enough for slicks, and then go to inters, or who knows, it might dry. We'll wait and see.
Well, last week we went from a damp Q1 session to a sunny Q2 session, so anything can happen.
That's it, mate. Yeah, the weather gods, we don't control them, but we love it when they turn up and throw a bit of spice in the pot.
Do love a bit of spice.
And speaking of spices, mate, how good is the spices on a KFC Zinger box?
I'm sorry, burger. Did you say the KFC Zinger box?
I think I did say the KFC Zinger box. You can't tell me what a sponsorship, can you?
I'm pretty fond of the KFC Zinger box, for sure.
We're terrible. That's going to be the worst of my product placements in this stream. It started off with the Mentos back in the day, if you remember them. But we're on to the KFC Zinger boxes.
Well, I'm surprised that the Colgate that Haas don't try for a Colgate sponsorship, because they're trying to bang in that Colgate colour on their car in quite a lot of the driver chats.
I don't know. Is Colgate a global company, or is it just?
No, I'm pretty sure it's global.
It's probably global. But yeah, Tabs, P1 really gains Dino quite a bit back from those two up. And Darkness, good lap from him in the Alpine. It's pretty close from some third backwards Moose. And then unfortunately just those 5 at the bottom got caught out by the conditions.
Absolutely.
Reedy got caught out by the big sausage curb down at turn number 1, I suspect. And Dirty Orange, Donny, Brad Tay and Suicide 5 just couldn't get it done. Before it got a bit wet.
Apologies for the crying.
Well, congratulations on your new child, Moose. You haven't been in the box, so I'm going to congratulate you with everyone here, but it's still raining here.
It certainly is, and well, thank you for the congratulations. My wife and I having a baby boy on Friday morning. Big chunker of a boy like his daddy, and he's flying, mate. So we're absolutely over the moon. We got told from quite a few sources that we were having a girl, quite a lot of doctor sources that we were having a girl, and it ended up being a boy, which I'm bloody over the moon. So
that's it, mate. And you chose a beautiful name as well, didn't you?
Yeah, so we chose the name Elias, and we're getting some pretty good feedback on it. So
I like that name,
Little Elias, mate.
He'll be in the sim racing world in no time, mate.
Well, in the OSRL Facebook chat, he's already got a photo up of him just sitting on the PlayStation with Daddy. He's got his headphones on, and he's giving the old man some tips on how to drive, mate.
Just like karting, mate. Get him in early.
That's it.
But, was it Ty-Star started the Mentos? I think it was, but then me and Barry just ran with it. But, it's Inters here, mate.
It certainly is. in this KFC Zinger Box Q2 session.
we give him too much. We've got to play a bit hard to get, I think.
Yeah, we got to. We've shown him a little bit of leg now, and we just have to rein it in a little bit.
We've shot our shot. Now we just got to wait for them to stop ghosting us.
Oh dear. So we'll jump on board here with Fury Strat, who's going to be the first man on track. And this is definitely intermediate conditions now, and none of these drivers, I'm going to go out on a limb and say none of these drivers have done any sort of practice in the wet on this track.
Maybe.
Facts.
But so yeah, coming down through turn 1, 2, 3 into Lagos here, onto the brake second gear corner, hit the apex nicely. Well, he didn't actually hit it nicely that time. Running a little bit deep and then up the hill. This is going to be pretty tricky in these conditions. Just sliding it up the hill. No DRS. The DRS is disabled in the intermediate conditions. Onto the brakes for turn 5, roll it in, and then just patient with the throttle, especially in these conditions. You will light up the rears if you're not careful. And then through the kink of 6 into the high-speed right of 7. And now we're at Samsung corner, turn number 8. Just be careful with your right foot once again as you rise up, the camber falling away. And then back down like a roller coaster through this corner, turn number 9. And then Portimao's corners 10 and 11. Start out wide, flick it in, hit up the apex. Run onto that nice green AstroTurf. Bit of grip out there. And then back down, back up into turn 13. Another hairpin corner. Just slowly rotate the car through there, get to the back to the left-hand side of the circuit to open up this understeery right-hand corner at 14, and then put the power down. Come through this final corner. It should be flat in these conditions. Fury having a little lift there, not quite confident at the moment, and then we rise up the hill, get the time on the board. It's a 1:27.1 to chase for the drivers.
So we've lost 10 seconds in the changeover in conditions.
As Milligains finds a couple more tenths on Mr. Fury Strat. But I think it's going to be the case of just doing a few laps to get into the rhythm here, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Could not agree with you anymore. And do you know what? I actually really, really rate this track. It's a really, really nice track, especially if you hook it up. And this is very quickly gone into my top 5 favourite tracks.
Yeah, it can be a bit daunting at first, but once you get the hang of it a little bit, it's an absolute pleasure. So we'll see who can master it the best in these conditions. We're probably going to see a few drivers sliding around, might see a couple drivers off. Here comes Apache Franks, goes up into 10th for Red Bull. And then Milligains. It was Milligains in the AlphaTauri coming up into second, mate.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a case of use up the inters as much as you possibly can. Probably going to have full wets for the entire race by the sound of things. So get out there on the inters and use them up if you can. The more laps you do, especially in these conditions, the easier it will be, especially if we have a full wet race like we're expecting.
Fury goes up into 4th. Here comes Darkness Abyss. Coming across the line for his first lap time, only 13th, not living with the conditions like he was in the first part of qualifying. Nick Magoo has just gone for a slowdown lap. And then Mr. Fire6 Spy, I think, doing the same, mate. The battery doesn't really last 2 laps here, mate, so you really have to do a charge lap in between.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll do we touch a little bit on the real life Formula One, the special Red Bull livery for this weekend coming?
I think we do, mate. So for those who,
something special.
It's beautiful, mate. Obviously, well, I can't confirm this, but I believe that it was meant for the Japanese Grand Prix, which was scheduled originally for this weekend, Moose. But however, to the COVID-19 pandemic, it was cancelled. But at least we get to see the livery out here in Turkey. And, last year's Turkish Grand Prix was spectacular for an odd reason. Hopefully we'll get a bit more of a conventional race this year. Yeah,
absolutely. It looks a little bit like a really old school McLaren. Even harken back to the Senna Prost days with that colour scheme. It is a really, really nice livery, I have to say.
It's sort of that white that's not white. It's just a little bit darker, and it just has that sort of Japanese feel to it. I love it.
Absolutely. So we're seeing all the drivers bar one out there at the moment. Tab thinking his lap is good enough, and I tend to agree with him a little bit as he's done 1:25.7. He's almost 5/10 clear of absolute in second. But yeah, all the other 14 drivers out there at the moment. Dino is in the wall, mate.
Dino up there at turn 4, mate. He's in the wall. He's lost a little bit of that front wing, I think.
Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble if he doesn't get himself going.
Here we go. Just waiting for a gap on the track, as they should. So you've just got to make sure you don't go you're backwards on the track. I think if you sort of sit stationary, you're okay. Obviously, you don't want to sit completely stationary, but just keep the car rocking back and forwards, Moose.
Yeah, he did look like he lost a little bit of bodywork, but that front wing looking intact, so I'm not quite sure what's fallen off that Ferrari.
It's getting old, mate. It's just losing parts slowly.
Yeah. Well, that's the I guess that's the go-to scenario of the Arriva Bene era.
Well,
no, Binotto. Oh,
the Binotto area.
Apologies to Mauricio.
The Arriva Bene area.
Area?
I'm not going to even...
Era?
ERA. I'm not even... Yeah. It's Italian, mate. I just can't wrap my peanut brain around it.
The word era is not Italian.
Yeah, it was the Ferrari name that put me off. I was distracted by the Ferrari, the Italian, the hand wave.
Si.
Well, si, signor, as Nat Hammer lifts up above his teammate, and the Estonian behind kicking off his lap. But conditions aren't really improving, but they don't really look like they're getting worse, Moosey. Just staying pretty consistent here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And can confirm that Dino obviously didn't have any front wing damage or any other damage at all, as he's on another push lap.
Well, let's go on board with him. Haven't seen much of him. He's 20 seconds up to the first sector. Not really a big surprise as he's stopped sideways for, what was about 20 seconds, evidently. But he's just flicking it through here. Through Samsung. Some interesting corner names on this circuit, Moves.
Yeah. Take that, iPhone.
Are you an iPhone guy, Moose? Are you a Samsung guy?
No. You could not give me an iPhone. I'm very much a Samsung man.
So am I, mate. I think that's why we get along.
Yeah, could be. Could be that we just we both really like the KFC Zinger box.
Stop it. Griffey Gaming, Budding Snags, Benji TV. Thanks for the follows, guys. Appreciate it. Here comes Dino around the final corner, Moose, to set his first lap, realistic lap time of the session.
Only
Only
P12.
manages 12. Only 12 for the man in the Ferrari at the moment. So,
and
he's
in a bit of strife, mate, because he's on low fuel. And, he's not in low fuel mode, but the fuel light is definitely on in that car, and he's only got a hop, skip, and a jump to get back. Nick McGoo reversing on the track! Wow!
Nick McGoo there, giving you a little bit of a heart attack there, Moose.
I was on board with Dino, and it was reminiscent of last night when I crashed into the side of someone.
We don't talk about these things.
No, not at all. Just a little bit of a heart and mouth moment.
Let's see who is out there at the moment. Tabbed, mate. So, provisionally first at the moment, but I don't think he's lighting up the timing screens at this point in time. So, yeah, might have made a mistake on that lap. Easy to do in these conditions, Moose.
Yeah, absolutely. And, mate, I will talk about one or two crashes from last night. The Codemasters crash. So, there was drivers in the pits, in the pit lane, and this is how much the lobby glitched out last night. There were drivers that the pit lane must have ended up in the centre of the main straight. And it just bang, 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 domino effect at about 300 kilometres an hour, if you don't mind. And it was not good.
It's like our cars were
myself
doing
and
the
a couple
salsa,
of other
mate.
drivers may have died.
Mate, it's like cars were doing the tango down the main straight, in and out of the pit lane.
Well,
As,
there
Nick
was.
Magoo, another one called out by the pit entry here, mate. We didn't see this last night, so obviously the Tier 3 boys are just less washed than the Tier 2 boys.
Yeah, exactly right. Last night we even saw drivers driving backwards down the pit lane. You know, they just such was the glitch that it was just it was ping ponging cars absolutely everywhere last night. So not good.
So what Tab can do, he's a couple tenths up on his previous best, mate, and he's already a 4 tenths clear of the pack, so he's flying out here. Can he hold that time through the final sector? He can. He finds another 2 tenths, goes to a 25.4. So he's well out in front of the pack at the moment.
Flying.
He is loving this circuit, and I was thinking he'd go strong around here. He's got some good time trial lap times, showing of his 1 lap pace.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of these guys do have a very strong. What's that? Yuck. A very strong time trial time around here. So they're the guys that you really got to be careful of, because they're the guys that are probably going to have done the most amount of practice. And as we were saying before, mate, practice around here is absolutely key.
Yeah, that's it, mate. I think this and Imola and Jeddah, when they arrive, are going to be sort of 2 or 3 tracks where drivers are really going to shine, or really going to... I'm not going to say fail, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Due to the amount of practice they put in, because it's not like a circuit like Silverstone that everyone's driven, multiple times before. You just can't rock up here and perform. You need to put in a few laps.
Yeah,
as Milliganes improves slightly, stays 5th fastest. So Milliganes looks like he's not going the best. I suspect some may have wet setups, which may be aiding them here, mate. Because if it's going to be a wet race, you might as well have a wet setup on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Just having a look, Dino 420 fam's come back out on a brand new set of inters, but he might be pushing it uphill a little bit to get to the start-finish line in time.
I think it'll be fine. He's through the first sector. That's a good 25 seconds in these conditions, so should be fine. It's not the longest of lap times here, Moose, so you can get around in relatively good time. Criollo boy stays 14th at the moment. M. Stone coming around the final corner, trying to find himself up into the top 10. He's been on good form recently, Stoney, and he's moved forward in the championship.
Yeah, he's looked really good the last few races. He's looked real rapid indeed. As we're just seeing another hashtag Ask Easy and a hashtag Ask Moosey coming through. Coloured Mentos or normal Mentos? I'm not that much of a Mentos enthusiast to know, mate. Do you want to weigh in there?
Just going with the basic blue Mentos that is white but in the blue packaging. Just the standard variety for me.
If it ain't fixed, don't colour it in.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's how the saying goes, but we live with it. And speaking of living with it, Crazy Kiwi, who hasn't really been himself throughout the first 9 rounds of the season, up there in second at the moment, so maybe Kiwi's got something here tonight we haven't seen from him in recent weeks.
Yeah, absolutely, and the checkered flag is down here. Your drivers at risk are Apache Franks, Crayola Boy, Dino 420 fam, Nick Magoo, and M Stone. We did just say that M Stone had been driving well the last few weeks, and he's in a bit of strife at the moment. Dino 420 fam, I'm on board with at the moment. He's flying. He's a couple of tenths up, just coming out of the second sector. I'm not sure who else is where on circuit, mate. Crayola Boy will be out as he's in the pit lane. Dino 420's made a little mistake there. He's just trying to push a little bit too hard by the look of things. And he's lost a lot of time.
He's gone wide again, mate. A lot of these guys coming into the pit lane, mate, but it looks like it stopped raining, so I thought they would have been able to find time here at the end, but obviously there was a lot of invalids, so just pushing a little bit too hard.
Enabled.
The DRS comes enabled, but Dino, with those mistakes, has cost himself a shot at Q3. Nick Magoo, he was off in the middle of that lap, so he won't be improving. Crazy Kiwi stays 4th, so that's the session. Liquidos, hello to you, my friend. Good to have you over. I know you're from the AFR side of things. Good to have you here. But Tabs, he's flying out in front, half a second back to Fury Strat there, and he did it with worse track conditions, arguably.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's probably worth mentioning that when it says that DRS is enabled, that's generally the crossover point for the slick tyres. It is still looking very, very sheeny out there, as you would say. But it is generally the crossover point when the DRS does get enabled. So I think we're going to have quite a bit of dry running in Q3, mate.
Yeah, well, if it's already DRS enabled, we should have slicks for the entire 12 minutes there, mate. But these drivers not really having to use too many sets of the inters. We're hearing it's going to be full wet conditions, but it could dry out a little bit, or just the rain lift off to get some inters in the race. So they might need a couple sets of those as well. But we shall wait and see. We can't tell you what's going to happen. All we can see is commentate to what we can see here in front of us, Moose.
Correct.
You've got an Ask Moose, mate, from Jodeku.
How many cold ones have I down? None. Do I sound shit-faced, do I?
He's a father now, mate. He has to set a good example.
Like that's going to stop me. That'd probably add to it. I don't know. Jodeku,
you're a teenager.
Jodeku, do I sound a little bit salty or? I don't know. Well, that's a weird question.
You know, mate, you sound just as normal as ever, mate.
That's probably not ideal then.
I don't.
if I'm showing up shit-faced every week.
Well, he's saying you sound sober. It doesn't fit you well.
No, that's fair enough too.
Well, here we go, mate. It's bloody dry. Look at it. The pit lane is very dry
as a bone.
And bone dry.
We love Moosey when he's loosey. I'll tell you what, Jodeku. I thought Jodeku would be a bit salty after me launching one up the inside of him last night. That's probably my greatest ever overtake, just quietly.
Yeah, but well, we thought Jodeku won the race. I haven't confirmed the race results, so I can't say if he's going to keep it. But he had a good race of it last night, so
he did.
He's flying high, mate. Unfortunately for you, Hoffa took you out, not him. So.
I definitely won't comment on that because that's
well, I probably shouldn't comment on it either, but I did.
Mate.
Oh well, mate. It's going to be interesting to see it. People may be running dry setups. People may be running wet setups. That could be the difference in these conditions. But if there's going to be 33 laps of wet conditions, I know what kind of setup I'd be bolting onto the car in these Parc Fermé conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. These three boys out front. What is that? Nat Hammer, Darkness Abyss, and the Stig. They're kind of getting on with things a little bit here. They're really close to each other. And FYI, guys, it's not the race yet. Don't have to overtake each other just yet. As Stig comes up around the outside, and I'll only say that once this week. As Stig wants to be the first man at the very head of the queue.
That's it, man. He wants a bit of airtime on the stream, and you know what? We're going to give it to him.
Oh, in the Williams, he does come around that final bend. This is a lap from the Stig, not the normal Stig that many of you folks know and love, but we love him nonetheless, and he runs very, very wide. And how is he not invalidated? He was just about in Sydney. He's run that far wide as he comes up through 3 and into 4, gets the car rotated nice and early, gets the power down, and not a bad first sector here from the Stig. It was a little bit loose in the rear end there coming out, so maybe there's not a heap of grip out there just yet. But we will see this track evolve very, very quickly, I would have thought. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. I'm assuming that's for Flourish. Correct me if I'm wrong there, mate. As Stig is coming down through the Portimao corner and up the hill, nice and tight setup there from the Stig in that car. That Williams looking very, very racy indeed in these conditions. A little bit of a twitch once again, but he gets that car nice and straightened up very early. Takes a little bit of the curb on the inside. You can do that now that it's dry. Opens the car up. Uses all of the available ERS and goes top of the table, immediately replaced by Nat Hammer.
Nat Hammer smashes him, and Darkness not too far off the back of him. Crazy Kiwi goes into fourth Fury. Goes another 10 faster than a lot of them. Here comes an Alpha Tauri on an invalid lap. That's absolute. That's going to be then Tabbed F1. He's invalidated. So has Flourish. We'll go back to the Haas of Kraken. He's invalidated as well. So it's going to be Miller Gaines, mate. What was that? 4 or 5 invalidations in a row. Come on, lads. We want to see some clean laps. But Miller Gaines, championship leader. Can he deliver another lap in qualifying to show us what pace he's got? And he can up into provisional pole there, Moosey. A 1:17.2.
Yeah, absolutely. But as I mentioned before, track evolution is going to be huge here. I think it's whoever's going to be on track last will take pole here. And, oh, mate, track evolution is just going to be huge, especially after that rain throughout Q2.
Yeah, that's it. The track's going to be gripping up with every single lap. And with only 10 cars out there, it's going to take a little bit longer than you might have seen in a Q2 or Q1 session. Just due to the fact that there's only 10 cars laying down that rubber. The Stig goes to second faster than his best stay, or goes up into fifth. Then it's going to be Crazy Kiwi, mate. And he goes up into third. Fury behind.
He's got good
finds
pace
a little
tonight,
bit more.
Crazy Kiwi.
Yeah, he does. He's more the Crazy Kiwi we thought we'd be getting this season. So good to see him back in the form of things. Absolute there. Puts it up into P1. Here comes the Astons, mate. Tabbed goes fastest. What can Flourish do? Only enough for 9th at the moment. The Kraken coming into the pit lane. So that Jinx is kicking in early for the Kraken.
Mate, that is a serious lap from Tabbed.
Yeah.
That is going to take some serious beating.
Yeah.
Exactly 4/10.
I reckon half the Tier 1 grid won't even beat that tomorrow night, mate. So, 16.7, that's very quick. Especially in these conditions, Moosey, it's not the most ideal track conditions here. The track conditions will probably be a bit cold out there. Obviously no sun to warm it up. Still probably trying to rubber in the racing line a little bit. So, very good lap there from Tabbed.
Absolutely. And it just shows you, apart from Tabbed, how close it is. You got 2.5 tenths from second all the way down to Darkness Abyss there in 7th position. 2.5 tenths is nothing, mate. That's quicker than a hiccup.
Oh, true? What was that?
That's a sneeze. That's a sneeze.
I know, but I can't do it. I can't really fake a hiccup, so...
You sound like the old guy on what was that show? You sound like the guy from that Home Improvement show in the 90s when he goes,
Yeah, look, I wasn't around then, mate. So
Scooby-Doo then. You've done the old Scooby-Doo. Just
Raggy. Oh, stop it, mate. All right. Miller Gaines managed second there. Oh, I need a moment.
Oh dear.
Yes, we are.
Apparently, we're goobers. Is that a good thing?
Goobers is like idiots.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'll pay that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Clowns.
Play on.
I would use more descriptive words, but I might get cancelled.
Yeah. Ty Star, I'm not that old, man. I've only just turned 30.
Yeah, you're not that old. You're only 9 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Deezy goes bang.
Oh, dear.
Darkness, mate, you've got your ERS turned off. Turn it on. You're trying to do a lap time.
That's fair enough.
He's the only one out there on a push lap, though, so we're going to stay with it.
Is it a push lap?
Deezy is a far-right conservative. We don't talk politics here at the OSRL, mate. That could, we get enough action on the circuit, let alone what we'd get in the chat if we started talking politics.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's been a weird week in politics. Gladys is gone.
Yeah,
Dan's on his way out.
John Barilaro, the corrupt man's on his way out.
Bozza! Bozza's onto something.
Deezy and Moose podcast. Well, I don't know if you do the same thing, mate, when you're out with the boys on the piss. We're always talking about making a podcast, just because that's what we do. That's what boys do. But yeah, honestly, an OSRL podcast. Stay tuned. Could be in the works.
No. Never mind the OSRL podcast. Like, we'll do that
just
too.
The Deezy and Moose podcast.
The Deezy and Moose show. We'll give Hamish and Andy a run for their money.
I reckon if we do that, then we'll get a KFC sponsorship.
Zinger bucks.
The hashtag Moose and Deezy Zingercast.
Whoa.
The Zinger Show.
Whoa. The Zingcast.
The Zingcast.
Oh, Whitey's chimed in with the Zinger Show.
Oh, yes. Hello, Zinger Geek. Darkness is still soldiering around there with no ERS on, so...
Darkness, if you can hear us, chuck that ERS on, mate. You might go a bit quicker. Just one bloke helping out another.
We'll flick back to someone who's got it turned on. That's Mr. Straight 2. 2 tenths up, mate. First
You're
sector.
absolutely ruthless.
Well, I gave him a lap and a half on the stream. I think that's enough.
G'day, Whitey. Good to see you in here, mate. We are very, very well. How are you, my friend? It's all happening here. We've had a little bit of rain. We've had a little bit of sunshine, and in the rain, we're in for a schnitzel load of rain. But we won't mention schnitzel because the only thing we talk about here in OSRL is the zinger schnitzels, which are zingers.
How many times can you say zinger in a sentence? I know corporate's on your back, mate, but settle down.
All right, mate. Little bit of professionalism now. That is the last time we will talk the OSRL zinger driver of the day. As Mr. Fury Strats around.
Around or just letting people pass?
No. He went around.
Well, that's a shame.
He got very, very twitchy indeed.
Mr. Fury spin.
Oh, that's salty.
Things up here. Here comes Flourish, mate, up at the top of the hill. Furthest along for the Aston Martin team. We got 1 minute to go until the checkered flag is out and waving. The sun's just peeking through the clouds now. I can see it shining off of the back of the Aston Martin. It's saying g'day. Look at that, beautiful. Will this be a beautiful lap time from Flourish? And he stays ninth only, so the slowest of the times. Who's next off the rank? It's going to be Milligains, mate. And he finds 3 tenths, but it's not enough to get tabbed. Who else is pushing out there?
Tabbed.
Tabbed F1. He's just setting off on a lap. Here comes the Williams of the Stig just to commence a lap. So we go on board with Crazy Kiwi,
Oh, that's
mate.
sun. That is really cleared up very, very quickly here, hasn't it?
It has burnt off. So invalid for him. Kraken is just starting a lap time. Absolute comes across the line and stays third. He found a couple tenths. Nat Hammer lifts himself up into fourth. Mr. Fury Strike coming into the pit lane. His qualifying is over after that spin. It's now going to be down to those out on the circuit. Can they find time? The Alpine of Darkness is around at Samsung. There's Milligains, I think. Absolute is around out of turn number 4.
Apparently, Darkness found his ERS button from one of our viewers at home.
I think he did, but Flourish Expire. Again, he finds some time, goes up into 8th position.
Oh, Milligains goes bang. But I think Tabs is going to go bang straight back. Bang, he does!
Yes,
and it's a 16.5. That is an impressive lap time from both of those gents, and I think Milligains should really feel a bit stiff there.
The in the wet conditions, pole isn't everything, mates. The Stig stays ninth. Crazy Kiwi, who looked good in the wet conditions, not quite with it in the dry. He gets up into sixth, but quickly pushed back down by Kraken there. Goes up onto the second row as Urban with a tier 1 sub legend.
Ugh, my man. I feel like I haven't seen my man in the chat forever and a day.
He's a busy man.
Where has my man Urban Scyther been?
I miss hearing that on the T1.
Oh, mate, I actually miss calling his name out. I really do.
It's got a good flow to it, isn't it?
Guys, don't forget, Jadoku saying that his prediction was correct. So, what prediction was that? Oh, he predicted a top 3, didn't he?
He predicted the top 3 of Tab Mill against Kraken. Well done to you, sir.
Congratulations, you've won a Zinger box. Like, what do you want me to give you here? we don't have merch here. Although, Whitey, get onto that merch thing, mate. That's OSRL merch. Ooh.
The OSRL Zinger shirt.
No. Just an OSRL beanie. I'd put me down for 2, mate.
One for the little men?
Sure. Or 2
we'll
for me.
We'll get baby beanies too. Alright, so it's the AlphaTauri who takes pole position. Oh wait, it's an Aston Martin. That's a bit awkward.
Oh.
It's Tabbed, and then Miller Gaines, then a Kraken, Absolute, Nuthammer, Fury Strike, Crazy Kiwi, Darkness, Abyss, Flourishing Spy, and the Stick! Your top 10 here for the Portuguese Grand Prix. And we're set for a wet race, apparently, Moose, and that could be very, very interesting.
Well, mate, it's definitely going to spice things up. And I saw a comment from, I think it was Whitey before, that next week's challenge for us is not to mention the word Zinger or box.
Well, that's going to be hard.
I think that 2 minutes into Q2, into Q1 next week, that's going to be out the window.
Yeah, most likely, but we'll be back on the formation lap to kick things off, Moosey.
That's it. I'm just going to fly and get a drink, mate.
Yeah, man, no worries.
Oh, I'm out of froth.
Out of froth. Who had the race start last week? Was it you or me?
I have no idea.
You know what? You can have it.
Ooh.
But I'm gonna go grab a drink, so you can take it just through the grid as well.
No.
In 2 seconds. I'll let you know when. Alright, now.
Alright guys, welcome back to what we can only describe as absolutely treacherous conditions out there. It is standing puddles and full wet conditions, if you don't mind. And we will run you through the grid as we're just seeing how terrible the conditions are out there. A lot of standing water. So, pole position, we have Tabbed F1. He'll be joined by Miller Gaines on the front row. Kraken in P3, Absolute P4. Nat Hammer down there in P5, Mr. Fury Strat P6, Crazy Kiwi, very strong performance from him so far this week, tonight, in 7th position. Darkness Abyss P8, Flourish Expire P9, the Stig in 10th position, M Stone P11, Nick Magoo in P12, Dino 420 Fan P13, Crayola Boy, I'm sorry if I've said that wrong, in 14th, Apache Franks in 15th. Suicide 5 in 16th, Brad Tay 17th, OSRL Donny in 18th, Dirty Orange 19th, and Reedy will round out our grid for tonight. But it must be said that conditions are absolutely shocking out there tonight.
They are treacherous indeed, Moosey. And
there is so much standing water.
Mate, there is big puddles on the racing line and off of it. It's going to be slippery everywhere. And chaos. If the prediction's still going, get your points in. One car, I think it's expired though, so we'll wait and see if it's going to rain. But look at this picture, mate. It is chucking it down on the main straight.
Yeah, it absolutely is, mate, and it's going to make conditions very, very treacherous here tonight indeed. As I can just hear you having a spot of the H2O, mate.
Yeah, the H2O, mate. No beers in the fridge, so liquid.
Well, I actually just had a look in my fridge and I've run out. So
you've run out of water.
Yeah. So massive standing puddles here, but the drivers are formed up on the grid. And mate, you can have it. I'll give it to you. Have at it.
Oh, stop it, mate.
Sure.
So it's tabbed on the right, Milliganes on the left. We await the lights here for round 10, Tier 2, OSRL. Here they come. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights are on ahead of the drivers. And we go racing on the front row.
Starts. 2 blokes have jumped to start.
Big jump start there. Haas is absolutely flying up the inside of the Alpha Tauri and the Aston Martin, but it was a jump start for the Kraken. He's going to have to serve a drive-through penalty.
Whoa.
Nat Hammer is fending off the Alpine of Darkness. Abyss Crazy Kiwi is going backwards. Mr. Fury Strats in the walls back there with a Williams and an Alpha Tauri. Further back, there's a Ferrari of Dino 420 fam looking at a Williams. He's got 2 of them for company. He's got both Alfa Romeos for company. He's boxed in 2x2. And contact down there at turn number 5. Big corner cut, big contact. The Red Bull is running wide in the background. All sorts of chaos here on lap 1, Moose.
Yeah, that there is, mate. But surprisingly enough, we still have 20 drivers as we're seeing a Ferrari of Dirty Orange facing the wrong way. There was a lot happening there, and there's still a lot happening as we're seeing the Stig and Apache Frank side by side as they try and dance around. I think that's that Samsung corner. Correct me if I'm wrong there, mate. And, mate, I don't know how we still have 20 drivers pointing the right way.
Yeah, Dirty Orange having that spin, but the jump starts out there. They're going to have to serve that drive-through. It's such a shame for Kraken. He's thrown away what could have been such a good result early on in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kraken and Stig both jumped the start. I'm not sure how they got it so wrong, both of them. But, yeah, they both must serve a drive-through penalty. Correct me if I'm wrong, within 3 laps of this race.
Yeah, that's about right, mate. Obviously, they can't serve it under a safety car, so they would probably want to get in and serve it quickly. The Stig, he's in to serve it immediately. We await Kraken, who's out in front. Might try and build the gap a little bit before he comes in to serve that penalty. But the gap's not quite as close as we would have seen in the dry, but the drivers are struggling out there in these conditions, Moose.
Yeah, exactly right, mate. And it's an absolute late lunge there from Dino 420 fam, channeling his inner Moose, and M-Stone's got past Fury as well. So Fury losing a couple of positions as we saw a really good overtake there from Dino 420 fam.
Yeah, that's it. No safety car on that one, so sorry to all of those who put your points on the line. Who was that going off? It was Absolute in the Alpha Tauri, spinning out a Samsung, and he's going to drop right down to the back of the field.
He was running high up as well, mate.
Yeah, he was up inside the top 10. And whoa, look at that from Dino. Big slide there out of turn 11. Yeah,
Dino's trying to get a move on, but as we saw in qualifying, he needs to bide his time a little bit. We did see him through qualifying get very, very trigger happy on the throttle, and it's really not the quickest way around if you're trying to get it done.
So Kraken continues for another lap, so he will need to serve that drop through this lap, Moosey. It's such a shame because it looks like good pace in these conditions.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And just for those playing along at home, I've just had the predicted pit stop strategy pop up on my screen. You do not have to box under any circumstance in the wet conditions. If it does, dry up or go to intermediate, there must be a pit stop. But if you can get your wet compound tyre to the end, have at it. No mandatory pit stop in the wet in the Formula 1 2021 game.
Yeah, that's it, mate. There's no requirement to pit off of the wet tyres, but to do 33 laps, that would be quite the accomplishment, mate. So probably expect one stop from all of these guys. But who knows? It could go to Inters. I don't think it's going to dry up, but anything can happen here in the OSRL. And it's going to be tabbed out in front shortly from Milliganes as Kraken will peel into the pit lane.
Yeah, he must come in. I'm pretty sure this lap he must come in. So Tabbed will inherit the lead right about now. And will we see any of the drivers get the pit lane entry wrong in race conditions, as we saw during the qualifying session? As we have seen Kraken peel in, the Stig has already served his. So, the last of the jump starters serving their penalty.
Yeah, we haven't seen a jump start, I think, all season, Moose. So to have two in one start, obviously, they were just getting ready, getting a bit angst there on the starting line and just jumped it. And it doesn't matter if you jump it by an inch or by a mile, you will be given a drive-through penalty.
All right, Dom. Oh, dear. Not a whole lot of close racing on track at the moment, which is... it's a little bit depressing to say the least, but we'll jump down towards the back of the grid. Reedy and Nick Magoo, they're having a meeting of the minds at the moment, and Nick Magoo trying to do everything he can to get past his Tier 3 comrade in Reedy.
Yes, well, Nick Magoo's actually a Tier 2 driver, mate.
Yeah, so correct. I know, I realised after I said it.
He's trying to get past his counterpart from Tier 3, but Reedy didn't exactly have it his way last night, so maybe he can have a better runs tonight as Nick Magoo, I think, just tapped the back of the Red Bull there.
He's had a little bit of a spin, and not good there. I'll tell you what, though, it's the rain hasn't let up here, but we definitely have what is a drying line. It's definitely still way too wet to go to the Inter, but there is a definite racing line starting to make its way around the circuit.
Yeah, the drivers just pound through the same line, all 20 of them at the moment. And here comes the Kraken, mate, through the final corner. And he's right up the back of that Mercedes, Brad Tay, and gets it through the final corner and should get this done quite easily down in the main straight. I don't think Brad Tay's fighting him too hard here. And no, he's not. So down the hill, it's going to be Kraken down towards turn number 1 ahead of the Mercedes.
Absolutely.
This could be the blessing in disguise in terms of the action here on your screens, because he has got tremendous pace, so he might be flying through the field, but let's see how far he can fly up.
Yeah, it's very, very heavy rain, especially through the middle sector, as you're just coming up and over and starting to climb the hill. You can see the clouds really opening up as you're coming across the crest of the hill. So yeah, like we said, still millions of miles away from Inter conditions at the minute.
Ready picks up a penalty for those 3 seconds, for those 3 track limit warnings. And you've got to be careful around here, Moose. Come up.
It is very, very easy to pick up warnings and penalties. I think we saw... Pardon me, we saw one driver with, I think it was 15 seconds of penalties before the glitch last night. So that driver proving the point that it is very easy to get penalties accumulated on you at this Portimao circuit.
Yeah, mate, definitely. And
we're seeing in the chat, we're seeing the battle for 6th, and I'm on board with it. It is looking rather tasty, and they're catching Darkness Abyss. They're catching, Darkness Abyss and Crazy Kiwi ahead of them. But Dino 420 fam, he's got so much more pace than Flourish at the minute. And it just looks like Flourish might be holding him up a little bit. But they are catching the guys ahead. Yeah,
they are. It's basically a matter of who's got the biggest cojones in the final corner, Moose. Because in these conditions, it's not easy flat. So whoever can take the smallest lift through there is going to get to run down the straight. So you have to try and flow through the middle part of the lap and arrive at the final corner with some big balls.
Yeah, that's exactly right, mate. And I'll tell you what, I reckon Dino 420 fam can just about smell the cologne of Flourish Expire ahead of him. But I think Dirty Orange and Nick Magoo have had it coming together.
No, I think Nick Magoo just had a spin down at turn 5, mate, down at Torre Vip.
Fair enough. I'll keep my opinion to myself then.
Yeah, good. That's how I like it. I'm in charge here, mate.
Oh, Boz is on the sauce. Good boy.
He sent me an update from BWS, mate. So, and yeah, he's poured himself a scotch.
Drink responsibly.
Yes, please never drink and drive. In real life. Sim racing's different. It can be a bit interesting when you've had a couple.
Oh, mate. Yourself from a few weeks ago commentating on the sauce. It was a bit tasty. As Dino just gets Dino gets a lot of drift through the kink of 4 there, and I thought he was going to lose out to M-Stone, but M-Stone just not quite close enough. So correct me if I'm wrong, mate, but the rain has seemed to have let up a little bit.
Maybe a tiny little bit, but
I just jumped on board with the driver.
It's pretty miserable, if I'm honest, out there, Moosey. Not quite sure what you're looking at.
Yeah. I wasn't on board, and I was like at a spectator cam, and it was going through a bit of the track that looked a lot lighter.
Well, since we're into the sponsorships, mate, maybe we need to get a bit of OPSM or Specsavers for yourself. Because you might need to get your eyes checked if you think the rain's letting up.
Wow, that's a bit rough.
I know, a bit harsh. I say that as I currently have my glasses on, so...
Oh, see, I don't even wear glasses, so you can stick your OPSM up your bum.
you can stick your prescription up there, where the sun doesn't shine.
Oh, dear.
As we were doing all of that, it's Kraken moving up another position ahead of Suicide 5 on the last lap, and now sets off Apache Franks. And these drivers is trying to keep it on track, I think, at the minute. That's the main goal. But Flourish is definitely a bit of a bottleneck here for the likes of Dino, M-Stone and Fury.
Yeah, he sure is. And I've just had a quick span to the fastest lap currently, and it is Kraken making his way through the field. But that fastest lap is currently at 29.6, so that's 13 plus seconds slower than what we saw in Q3. So definitely Go on.
I was just going to say, it's not awful, because if you turn your eyes back to Q2, mate, what was it, 27s, 26s on the Inters?
Yeah, on the Inters. So
that's with a lot less fuel in the car. So honestly, not too bad here from these drivers. They're lapping pretty well here. We're not sure if it's going to dry. It might go to the Inters, but I don't think it's going to get dry anytime soon, Moosey.
No, not at all. And we did hear during qualifying that it was probably going to be for the better part of the race that we were going to have these conditions. So who knows? We might get a cheeky 5-lap run at the end with some of these drivers trying something a little bit different. But at the moment, mate, there's not a whole lot happening on track.
I'll tell you what, mate.
Fury's about to make a lunge on M-Stone, possibly. No, wrong. He just wasn't quite close enough.
No, and just lost a bit there through turn number 1. But a safety car right now could spice it up, because that line is getting much drier, mate. And Inters you could probably put a set of Inters on and fire them up here now, Moosey.
Oh, I think that's still a very, very bold call, mate.
Oh no, I reckon Inters it's getting there, mate.
There's a lot of standing water. Anyway, in the chat, our viewers at home, have your say. Is it into conditions yet, or is the full wet compound the fastest way to go at the minute? I personally think it is too early, but yeah, we do love it when our viewers have their say. So jump in there. If you have any questions, use the hashtag AskDeezy or the hashtag AskMoosey. But mate, we're not seeing a whole lot of action, but it is a rapid pace out there, and everyone's following everyone fairly closely.
Yeah, they're just sort of playing the long game here. Dino's probably the closest he's been, but just suffering a whole lot of understeer there on the exit of 14, and down through Gulp, just can't get close enough by any means. Fury's back up within half a second of M Stone, but again, it's probably not close enough.
Exactly, we're seeing a very divided chat. Saying we got one driver saying it's easily enters Imperial Dutch there, full wet still. Big Nick, I've got to be very careful how I say that. Still reckoning it's wet. Ty Star saying go the hards. You're a clown. Jadoku saying Moosey, look at the puddles. Of course, mate. I've said it's too wet. Boz is saying he'd take the gamble. Killer Pitbull saying he agrees on the hards. Use the clans. But yeah, it's very, very divided with our viewers at home, mate.
Well, we saw similar things for in Austria, mate, for Tier 3 in the sprint race, and Jodoku slapped a set of inters on at the end and was flying. So,
but he didn't make the time back, mate. That's the big thing here.
That's because he pitted too late, mate.
It was just the incredible. There, it was the incredible moose pace at the end there that held him up.
Talk yourself up. Any more moose. I love it.
Do you know what? No one can take that podium away from me.
Nat Hammer's coming in for an inters.
And Fury Strat's got M Stone well and truly. M Stone's in as well, mate. So, a couple of drivers looking to pull the pin, and mate, we've potentially pulled a strategic masterclass from the comfort of the box.
Set of intermediate tyres. I'm a good man. I'll tell you that.
Do you know what? I'm going to keep my eye on Nat Hammer's outlap because I don't think he's. I think it's still too early. It's close, but it's probably 2 or 3 laps too early.
I reckon it's time now, mate. But look at the pace of Milligains and Tabbed out in front. Darkness has just passed Crazy Kiwi. Sorry, we missed that one. So he's gotten past Crazy Kiwi, but they're 10 seconds ahead of the 2 behind. But yeah, keep your eye on that Hammer, mate. Tell us what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. He's very.
If they've gone too early, they're going to lose time. If they've got it right, they're going to find a whole, 2-3 seconds on this lap.
It's very, very borderline, I think, mate. But it does look like the inters may be the way to go.
He's finding a whole lot of time on Suicide 5 and Apache Franks. But they're running a little bit slower than the guys out in front. So we're not really getting a accurate
Milligains
is coming in. What will the guys in 3rd and 4th say? I think Darkness is coming into the pit lane. Yes, he is. So I reckon it's probably telling them now that it's time. He's got a whole lot of action in the pit lane, Flourish included. But it's going to be important for Nat Hammer to come out in front of that the pack he was chasing.
Yeah, so Nat Hammer has caught 4 seconds on the driver ahead of him just in that lap alone. So look at how much he's absolutely stonked up the field just by coming in that 1 lap earlier. Nat Hammer strategically getting that call absolutely spot on.
Yep. I say it every week, mate. They really should listen to me here in the box.
Tell you what, mate. I'll take what you said to me about that podium. Stop, get that air out of your tyres, mate. Stop pumping it up. Oh
you're
dear,
a good man,
old Zach Brown over here with the strategic call.
Oh, Zach Brown's a good man, mate. He's revived
I love him. He's good value. I actually follow him on I follow him on the Twitter, and he had a drive with Jay Leno a couple of days ago. So I thought Jay Leno had departed and gone up to heaven as Nat Hammer gets past Suicide 5. But apparently Jay Leno's still kicking and his mates with Zach Brown.
Zach Brown's got connections everywhere, mate, and I don't know if you've seen his Formula 1 car collection. He's got quite the collection in his possession.
TyStar got real touchy. TyStar, let's not talk about that spin, mate. I will rain down the wrath of Moose upon you. We're not talking about it.
Here comes Miller Gaines. Tab gets out in front, but Miller Gaines is going to have the feeler for the tyres, and he might have been challenged down at 3, and he does. He sends it to the inside. The Alpha Tauri looks for the move on the Aston Martin. Can he fight back? They're going side by side up through 4, and he sweeps around the outside, Miller Gaines. Wow. Good move.
Yeah, very, very good move indeed. And it's worth mentioning that out of all of that, Nat Hammer ended up 4th, but he did catch a lot of time on the drivers around him. So a little bit of a
still out there on wets, mate.
Yeah, I think he's missed the boat well and truly. Unfortunately
for a safety car at this point.
Well, it would bring him right back into play, wouldn't it? He would probably only drop to about 4th or 5th if a safety car was to drop now. But if it doesn't, he probably drops well outside that top 10.
Yeah, well, he was right. He was on the back of M Stone, so just keep that in mind. M Stone actually got past Dino through all of that pit stop action, and Crazy Kiwi was a bit of a loser to Flourish Expire. So that's how the cookie crumbles in these sort of events, mate. You go up or down.
I like cookies.
What kind of cookies? Are we talking choc chip cookies? Are we talking
I love
Subway
it.
cookies?
I love a good choc chip. Do you know what? Subway cookies, the macadamias. They're a bit of a
They just don't do it for me, the Subway cookies.
Really?
I don't know why. They just don't do it for me.
Is it because they've got about 400 grams of sugar per cookie?
I am a sweet tooth, mate, and I still can't live with them.
Yeah, right.
So Arkness says fastest lap of the race there. So he's got some pace. Fury is in. So let's see where he comes out in retrospect to this battle. They're coming past him, and he's going to be right at the back. The McLaren might get him in similar flash until we saw the leaders last time around. And there you go. Donny gets him down towards 3. That's a great move from Donny there, taking advantage of Fury running it wide. But Fury's not going to let him have it easily. Fights back around the outside. Good move there.
Yeah, very good move, and Donny just didn't really have an answer to that, but he might have a little look. He had a look, but no real lunge down there at, what is that, turn 6 down there?
That's turn 5, mate.
5?
Yeah,
does the double kink count?
Yeah, so it's the corner numbers here are terrible, but
yeah. Crazy Kiwi looking for the cutback on Flourish Expire. And Crazy Kiwi really looking at the gearbox of Flourish Expire now, and he's looking very, very rapid indeed, as Flourish is just not quite getting those tyres as warm as he'd like.
Millie Gaines fastest lap of the race as he's trying to hold off Tab out for the lead of the race, but Flourish continues to be a bit of a bottle in the train here, mate.
Absolutely, and it's you can use the term boat tonight, because you'd pretty much need a boat to get things done around there, especially at the start of this race. There was so much standing water out there, but Crazy Kiwi, we have mentioned that a couple of times tonight that he's having a pretty good night of it here tonight, and he's well up inside that top 10, having a very, very good night of it indeed.
Indeed he is, mate. So going strong, Crazy Kiwi in the Mercedes, and he's pushing that Aston Martin through the Subway second sector here, mate.
Yeah, we're pushing for a Subway sponsorship now. The Subway second sector.
The boys are hungry. That's all I can say.
Oh dear.
Boz, I'll give you a foot long if you're not careful.
Whoa. You dirty bastard. I'm not quite sure if he could probably go to the HR department on you there. That's I think HR would throw it out personally, but we're seeing the times tumble here, and Tab Def 1 is very, very close indeed to Milligains out front, to the tune of about 4/10, but nothing doing at the moment. They'd just be looking to... he'd be waiting for Milligains to make some sort of mistake. We have a Red Bull off. Reedy's out.
Reedy's out. And we have a safety car.
Yes,
Moose.
we do. That's a bit spicy.
Yes, it is. So full safety car here on lap 16 of this race. I think one of the boys absolutely lagged out, so I'm just going to sort him in quite quickly.
Okay.
Whilst we're under the safety car. But this is great value here. It's going to butt the field right up together. It's a shame for Fury he didn't hang it out just for a few more laps. And at least the safety car's working properly tonight here on lap 16.
Well, old Bert, the Mylander, definitely got paid overtime last night, so he's...
in the McDonald's Mercedes safety car.
Oh, in the... did you say the Big Mac safety car?
I think I did. What's the Happy Meal toy? What's the Happy Meal toy you've got going at the moment?
I think it's Pokemon cards at the moment, isn't it?
No, Pokemon cards.
Pokemon cards are a thing again.
Well, you'd want a wet or water Pokemon at the moment because
A bit of Squirtle, you reckon?
Squirtle, mate. Bulbous or whatever. Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur is the grass one, I think.
The grass one, yeah. Charizard. He's the fire one.
He's the fire one. Oh, mate, you're talking bloody Swahili to me.
I sure have.
Do you know what? I'm still a fan of Pokemon Go. It's not bad.
Look,
like for
I'm gonna make a confession here, mate.
Oh no!
I've downloaded it again.
Oh
after about 3 years of
no!
not having it, so it's bad.
Oh dear, I will log on to it a couple of times a day and just see what's going on.
It's a plague.
I don't even know how to say half of them anymore. Once you got past the original 150 or whatever it was, I had no idea. So we're seeing Bozza tell him to get him a Squirtle. Not sure if that's a euphemism or whether he's talking Pokemon Go.
Stop it, mate.
Absolute would like an invite. I will.
Oh, God, he's selfish, mate. I've already sent him one, but I'll send him another.
Oh,
there you go, mate.
Jeez. Absolute. I'm trying to do you a solid here, lad, and he's gone bang and wants no
I'm
party.
in a savage mood tonight, aren't I, Moose?
Oh,
I'm a bit turned.
the boys are wondering if I've been drinking, mate. You're one snap away from getting taken away by the fuzz.
Going home in the back of a divvy van. Woohoo! I don't think they could hear me banging my table there. Maybe they could.
I'm sorry, was that the Victoria Police divvy van?
Was that Dictator Dan on the line?
Oh dear.
Oh
no. Imagine Vic Pol heard that and just gave us a Victoria Police sponsorship.
I don't think I want it, if I'm honest.
Nah, that's fair enough too. Like I feel like they'd be real fun police, and like we wouldn't be allowed to go on about zingers like we do. So, not for it.
Fury's lagged out of session as well. So there you go.
Uh-oh.
Both of them up. Both of them up. No. Both of them up in Queensland, mate. So who knows? Maybe something's going up there in Queensland.
Well,
It's about
I don't
time
know
they had
about-
a bit of something going on.
I don't know about your screen, mate, but the intervals have just disappeared on my screen. I have no
Yeah, they have.
intervals to speak of at all.
I've got 3 for 3 of them further down the pack, but
The ScoMo grey sector. I like that. Ugh.
maybe we can have that in the USA Grand Prix since he loves to piss off to Hawaii.
Oh, that's controversial.
It's
Alright,
not an
hang on.
also a race without a Red Bull bringing out the safety car. That's right, mate. Oh no, Jodaku needs a poll. All right, let's hear it, mate. I'd love to hear what you need polled. Potato cakes or potato scallops? I'm not going to even entertain
No,
that.
we did that one last week. It's potato
we
cakes.
did this last week. It's potato cakes.
It's potato cakes.
We did the food debate last week, and if you don't agree with us, we don't care. Me and Moose are on the same page.
That's exactly right. It is potato cakes. End of story. It's a Parma, not a Parmy. It's it's a Pepsi, not a
HSP.
Pepsi Max. Yeah, it's a HSP. Like, grow up.
It's Spag Bowl, not Spag Bog, as some of those weirdos call it.
Stop it! No one calls it spag bog.
Mate, I'll shuck.
It's literally like saying, "Oh, I'm going to have spaghetti shit on toast."
Potato fritters? Where are
what
you
is
from?
a potato
That's
fritter? That's clearly something something from those inbreds down there in...
Oh, no.
Oh, Jadoku. Well, do you know what, Jadoku? You must be from Sydney, so go and get yourself a Premier, mate.
Haven't they got a treasurer running the state?
Oh, is anyone running that state?
Yeah, just poorly.
Oh, he's from Adelaide. I'm sorry. Do you know what's interesting about Adelaide?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But I still love you, Jadoku.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Ty Star's from Adelaide.
Ty Star.
Yeah, whatever. Love you too. Anyway, on track here, we'll go through the big winners, big losers. Let's get a little bit more professionalism about it. Big
professionalism?
winner.
Yeah. We're a bit late for that, I think, Moose.
Oh, yeah, we're well late for that. Big winner,
Maybe we'll give it a go for 5 laps.
Donny's up 8 positions. He's currently running P10. Pardon me. Big loser is Absolute down there. He's down 9 positions, currently P13. And the Stig is also one of those big losers. He's down 9 as well. So, sprinkling of penalties also, as we're seeing the safety car will be in this lap. You got 3 seconds for M-Stone, Kraken, Absolute, Nick Magoo. You got 6 seconds for Crayola Boy. Again, apologies if I've said that wrong. And Flourishing Spider, and a drive-through penalty for Dirty Orange. And, mate, you had the race start, so I might take the safety car restart and be a little bit selfish.
I love it.
And, geez, Tabs is all over the back of Milliganes. Milliganes goes now, tries to break the toe, and these two are gone. But they've taken Nat Hammer with them. Then Nat Hammer definitely not caught napping there, as these three have absolutely got away. And a 5-second penalty on top of that drive-through because he sped into the pit lane, Dirty Orange. So unlucky there for him. He'll fall back to the tune of probably almost a lap, I would have thought, by the end of all of that. So not having the best of it at the moment is OSRL Donny.
Donny, yep, gets passed by the Kraken there, down into the first couple of corners. Good move from the Kraken. Not too much going on in terms of positional changes here, mate. Dino, M-Stone, and Crazy Kiwi all still behind Firish Expire. Darkness Abyss has given Nat Hammer a good run for his money. But the 2 out in front are going to start trying to put that gap that they had. It was about 10 seconds before all of this, so they were flying out in front.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're just seeing... We're seeing some of the comments coming in about Adelaide. We've opened a big can of worms there. We do not condone the use of illegal drugs. I have to stress that in the chat.
We do not condone it.
We do not condone it at all. Nowhere is the meth capital of Australia. Just stay well away from that discussion.
Sorry, mate. I've been distracted by someone coming into my room and acting like a clown.
Well, that wouldn't be Daisy Jr., would it?
No, it wasn't. Cracking into the pit lane. So, interesting here. We'll keep one eye on what he's doing. I think he might have just picked up some damage, unfortunately, for him. But Dino 420 fam's really pushing these guys out in front. Just can't get it done.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we have a yellow flag in Sector 1 for, I think, Crayola Boy has gone around.
Yeah, he's dropped down to 15.
Yeah. So, battle out front is your closest battle on track at the moment. It is to the tune of about 4/10 between Milliganes and Tab Def 1. Both of these men being right up the head of the grid. They both started on the front row in this race. Both do not have a penalty to speak of at the moment, so this is all to play for between these two gentlemen at the moment. A little bit of a lag there for Tabbed, possibly. And he'd be looking to make some sort of move. We do have 12 more laps of this race, so these wet conditions, this is a little bit of a slow race. And the rain is really starting to let up, mate. There's definitely a quite dry line that these drivers are getting around on at the moment.
Yeah, it could go to Slicks, Don Undermuffin, Dunder Muffin paper. Thank you for the tier 1 sub, bro. Reese, appreciate it. But yeah, Tab looks like he has the better pace, just can't find his way past. And yeah, as you're saying, just jittering a bit around a little bit there. We know his connection hasn't been the most solid thing throughout the season.
Potentially as solid as my mental health.
Oh, are we going to go that deep, Moose?
No, I better not.
When I say go deep with you, it's normally in a different context.
You dirty bastard!
I couldn't even make it 3 laps, god damn it. Crazy Kiwi, still pushing Foch around, but Foch has got a penalty as well, mate, so he's going to lose a few positions if he can hold on in front of this strain. So he's sort of fighting with no end, real fruition.
Oh, Kiwi could potentially get jumped here. M-Stone is well and truly pushing the back of him. And we've mentioned it a couple of times, Flourish is a little bit of a boat here, mate.
He's a boat, but he's quick down the straight, so I think that's his saving grace here. Look at him just take off.
Oh, M-Stone has lined up Crazy Kiwi here. ERS fully being deployed. No DRS yet to speak of. And will he launch one up the outside? No, he won't.
Whoa, there's contact!
Contact between the two lads, and that's not good. Oh, launches one up the inside, and Dino's going to say thank you very much.
Oh, no.
Oh,
here we go.
Oh, no.
Oh!
Contact, and they're around, and they're in the wall.
Big problems for these two. Dino sort of just boxed them in, unfortunately, and those two have sent each other around in a safety car, mate.
Oh, we have another safety car with those two gentlemen absolutely having a serious coming together. But mate, it's been said once, it'll be said a million times. Safety cars breed safety cars.
Yeah, they do. Dino sort of took all the options away from those two there. He didn't do anything wrong, just put them right up against each other, and they were rubbing wheels, and it was almost inevitable that they'll end up together in the wall. But wow, yeah, got no words for that. That's just unfortunate for the Williams and who was it? Crazy Kiwi and the Mercedes. I've just lost all train of thought here, guys. I have no idea what's going on here this evening. But Tabs is going to get another chance at a safety car restart, and arguably that's going to be his best chance to get the position done. Because we've seen it's just so difficult to make overtakes in these conditions. So he's got to make every opportunity that it comes his way. The same goes for the likes of Nunhammer and Darkness. Maybe they can jump ahead of one of each other, or someone ahead. Flourish Expires just got to hold on. We've seen that he can sustain the pressure. He's just got to stay ahead at the safety car restart. But those two involved in that incident are coming into the pit lane to get some wing changes and another set of the inters. And Dirty Orange again gets another drive-through for speeding under the safety car. So Dirty Orange not having the race he may have wanted here for his first Tier 2 appearance of the season on reserve. Obviously, he was in Tier 2 last season, but in Tier 3 this season, where he's having a pretty good run of it recently. He got some good pace for the Mercedes outfit in Tier 3. But we just wait for the grid to form up once again, or the safety car to release them all. And it's probably going to be at least one more lap until the Alpine of Suicide 5 gets onto the back of them. I don't think they're going to wait for the Ferrari of Dirty Orange, unfortunately. They might. It just depends if it goes one more lap after this lap, or if it's going to come in on the end of next lap. So I could have said that probably a bit clearer, but it is what it is. Race Squad 33, thank you for the follow, as well as Yeet. Thank you guys, appreciate that. But safety car, and we're going to have about 10 laps of racing here. I don't think the rain's going to let up here, but it could do. Who knows? The sort of looks like it's getting a bit lighter in the sky. The rain's definitely down to a light rain compared to the downpour we saw earlier on. So if it's out and it goes to dry conditions, you'll be gaining seconds a lap on a pair of slicks. So who knows what can
have
happen.
we had anyone pull the pin on a slick?
I don't think it's quite ready yet, Moose. You've just got to be on the right tyre, the right tyre conditions. The idea of putting on the slick a couple laps early, it sounds good under a safety car, but then you end up in the wall with the front wing completely
That's
dislodged
exactly
from your
right.
car. And you've just got to make the right strategy call at the right time, and you'll gain seconds. But we don't know if it's going to go dry or not. If it does, it could spice things up with a couple laps to go. Imagine that, Moose.
Well, mate,
3 or 4
I
laps to go.
think even if it was to go dry, you know, with 5 laps to go, it's probably too late to do anything about it. It would have to go dry now.
I disagree. I reckon anything less than 4 laps, more than 4 laps, could be worthy of a pit stop. But we'll wait and see. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we won't.
I'm just seeing a ha 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 Deezy, oh no, and then a kill me. What did you say while I was gone?
I think that was when the Williams and the Mercedes took each other out, and I was just like, oh no, they've crashed. But in a bit more of a dramatic voice.
Oh, well, mate, I had the drama turn up to 11 for it, so I'm hoping you did also.
Well, you know, I'm not going to steal your spotlight, mate, when you're, you know, putting in all the emotion, so... So safety car's going to go again, unless it calls it late, mate.
No, surely not.
Dirty Orange is going to be praying that it goes once again. Plenty of laps for it to keep going, so it probably will go again. It can.
It
the
has
lights
to
can
go
come
again
off
now.
around the final corner. I've seen it come off. The lights come off here around this corner here, turn 15. So stranger things have happened, but I think it's going to be staying out here. So Dirty Orange will be happy with that, but he has a drive-through penalty once again, mate. So it's not really going to make a big difference for him. But who can take advantage of this safety car restart, mate? Because this is arguably the best chance you have of making a position.
Apologies there, mate. I put my microphone on mute
Whoa!
while Junior was getting his nappy changed because there was quite a commotion. But I forgot to turn it back on, and I've been talking to you for about half a minute without the microphone turned on.
Oh, sorry about that, mate. But we've got a pair of slicks out on the circuit,
We do.
mate.
We have Crazy Kiwi. That's a very, very bold strategy as the rain is still falling. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh
I'm
no,
very
it is way too early for those slick tyres.
Yeah.
I just watched Kiwi try and go around turn 2, and he had hard steering lock on and went straight.
Oh, look at this!
Oh no!
It's good. It's good value. This.
But he was running very, very nicely, and he's probably cost himself a top 5 finish. Top 10. Let's be generous.
Yeah, top 10 because remember he was in the wall with M Stone there, mate. So they dropped down the field, but
we're hearing that he's done a venti. He's done a venti from Canada.
That's it, mate. Well, safety car in this lap, and because I'm selfish, mate, I'm going to take this one.
Yeah,
since
take it.
You stole the last one.
Take it.
So Miller Gaines is just backing them up, tabbed in behind. He's stalking him. He's right up behind the Aston Martin. He's just trying to predict when he's going to go. He's just got to make the opportunity while it's here. This is his best chance. He goes and he jumps with him. This is going to be his best opportunity, arguably, for the rest of the race here, Moose. He's in the slipstream. He's going to have to go to the outside line. He's going to have to squeeze his rival into turn 1. He can't quite do it, but he gets this switchback line and then almost loses the car down in towards turn 3. The Haas is looking up the inside. Can the Alpine take advantage of this as well? We'll go on board with Darkness Abyss as they rise up the hill. Nathammer's looking very racy here.
Oh, they're pushing
got
each
it a
other.
little bit wrong. Crazy Kiwi, he's put it in the pillar and he can't make those softs work. They are pushing each other tight here.
Nathammer down the inside!
The traction for
Nathammer
Tab.
tabbed! Wheel to wheel! Sorry to cut you off there, mate.
No, you're right.
But they are side by side here. And Tabbed has the inside line. And Nathammer just doesn't get the traction. But he tries to fight him back once again. Thinks the better of it. Ducks in behind. And unfortunately, Nathammer, that could have been his best opportunity. Does not get the move done.
Oh, Darkness went in a bit deep. This could open him up to Dino 420 fam. Up into 13. Dino goes for the dive. Gets a little bit of a lock up there on the wrist. Slides it up the inside. Darkness is going to have the inside at 14. Can Dino possibly go round the outside here? Not quite on this occasion, but they're still very close together as they exit down the hill through 15. Who has better straight line speed here, Moose?
Oh, that Ferrari's looking very, very rapid indeed. But Darkness Abyss is absolutely dumping that ERS to stay ahead, and it is very, very successful. Worth mentioning that the ERS is incredibly easy to run out of on a lap. So if you dump too much ERS, you're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, not so much in these conditions, Moosey. Obviously, you're going a bit slower and you're braking a bit harder, so you get to regenerate a bit more of it. But
Slick
yeah,
tyres for Mr. Fury Strat. At this point, he has absolutely nothing to lose down there in 18th position. So, what can he do?
Not wrong. I think Tab might have lost his chance of the win here.
Mate, it has stopped raining. It has truly stopped raining.
And it could possibly go dry here for the last 5 laps. I reckon we can have the DRS here.
Oh, mate,
surely, Moose.
Could we have a France from last season? Could we have that sort of scenario?
I think we could, mate. And I reckon we might have a couple stay out and a couple come in. So, well, there's not going to be more than a couple, but you know what I mean. There's going to be split strategies here at the end.
And who's going to pull the trigger out of these top 2? Is it going to be Milligan's? Is it going to be Tabbed? We'll find out in half a corner as Milligan stays out and both of them stay out. So they're thinking the better of it. Do you know what? To be fair, nobody coming in.
I think it's going to be one more lap at least, mate. Side by side, the Ferrari and the Alpine to turn 1. On the inside, Darkness hangs on, but can Dino pull the switchback that we've seen a few times tonight? And yes, he can. Down the inside at 3, gets it done. And he's going to have this sweeping line up through 4, hangs on to the position. Nice move there from Dino Moose.
Mr. Fury Strat, he's the only man out there on the soft compound tyres at the moment. It is not working.
It's too early.
It is not working. He's about 4.5, 5 seconds slower, 6 seconds slower on this lap alone. It is too early.
Yeah, it's going to be at least a lap more, maybe 2. So, it's that case. Do you call it? Do you not? And you can look like a rock star, or you can look like a wanker, as Mr. Gunther Steiner would say. But at the front, 3/10.
Yeah, even M Stone, he's really struggling. He's fighting those slick tyres. And unfortunately, that's going to take the best life out of them if you fight them. So it is still too early by the look of it, mate. But if they do fire them up, it'll be all to play for here at the end.
Here comes Tab. He's slowly gaining, but he's just not close enough down to turn 1.
Yeah, good driving, great tussle between these two gents so far tonight. It has been both of them 1-2 for the entirety of it. As we're seeing Mr. Fury Strat is around, and he's really struggling on those slicks at the moment. As I was saying, mate, these two have been out front the entire race, with the exception of Nathammer fighting on that safety car restart. They've looked to have it well and truly in hand.
Yes, they have. It looked like Nathammer might have cost him, but Tab just closed right back in. We saw earlier in qualifying, he's definitely got the most pace out there. Just can he use it? Can he get past Milligan's, or has Milligan's got enough in his pocket to defend?
Yeah, Couple of tenths in it now, and it must be said, this isn't the easiest track to overtake on. Yes, there's a couple of opportunities out there, but if you don't place your car in exactly the right spot, you won't get these moves done. And wow, a 10-second penalty for M. Stone as he's had a conversation with the wall there. It's if you don't position your car right, you're going to get it completely wrong and you're going to be out.
Tab just trying to keep his foot as flat to the floor through the final corner. You just can't keep it flat in these conditions and the dirty air. And again, he's not going to get the move done on this occasion. Look at this battle. Further back for 5th position. The Darkness ahead of Flourish, ahead of Kraken. But Flourish and Kraken both have penalties.
Yeah, that they do, and they'll drop back a couple of positions just at the minute alone. As I'm not sure if Dino's got himself a little bit of damage, or whether he's just really struggling to keep those inters in a good tyre window at the moment. But the opportunity has
was that
contact between Flourish and Darkness Abyss, and Kraken says thank you very much.
I don't know if Flourish was trying to break late to defend from Kraken, but he got into the back of the Alpine there.
He certainly did, and DRS has been enabled.
I think it's probably too late for a pit stop at this point, mate.
I told you.
But that could be the difference for Tab. That might let him get the overtake done here.
Yeah, he's been very, very close the entire race. And with a little bit of DRS assistance, he's got quite a lot of battery pack compared to Milligan's out in front. So could this be it here? Could we be seeing the move done? 3.5 tenths in it. And he's looking... Oh, wow, Milligan's is in.
Milligan's is calling it.
Whoa!
Oh, I love this, mate. So, Tab stays out. Milligan's calls it. Darkness calls it too.
Crazy.
All right, well, this is going to be interesting. So, it's Tab down front from Nuthaven from Dino now. Yeah, wow. Speechless.
Championship leader, Milligan's.
I guess he's got really... I mean, he's got a lot to lose, but he's got a big lead, so...
But he's got a huge gap that he's come out into to the tune of about 7 seconds. So if he can fire them up, he's going to have an absolute field day out there.
Yeah, it's, well...
Oh, it is well and truly Slicks. It is well and truly Slicks out there. He is absolutely on it already.
Yeah. It's like a light switch. We say, oh! Kraken's in the wall! Kraken's in the wall and out!
Whoa!
Big there from Kraken. So, Milligan's championship leader's down in 12th. Second, Fury Strat's down in 18th, mate. And well and truly last. What can Milligan's do? I don't think he has enough time. I think he's made a mistake here.
He's made a big mistake. Yes, he's caught 3 seconds in the first 2 sectors, but unless this track really falls away for these intermediate runners, he's made a big mistake.
Yeah, 2 laps isn't enough. It's got to be at least 4, I'd say.
He might get 1 or 2 of these guys at the end, but geez, that's a big... Oh, he's around! He's around and he's in the wall and he's lost the entirety of that front wing. Championship leader goes from hero to 0.
Yeah, wow. I'm speechless, mate. He just didn't have to make that move. He was leading. He was in front of Tabbed.
Oh, Tabbed has been
and Brad stays out.
Tabbed has been handed this race win.
Milligan's gets passed by Darkness there, but all of these guys who came in for the slicks just have made the wrong decision here, mate.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think Milligan's he's got a 24-second advantage to Dirty Orange behind him. Oh, sorry, it's only 7 seconds, so Milligan's might struggle to.
I think he's going to lose a couple more positions here, mate.
I think he might.
But we'll go back to Tab.
Penalties could be the only thing to save him.
It could, mate. So Tab comes round the final corner on lap 33 on the Inters, and he's going to win here in Portugal. He takes the race win. Second is going to be Nuthammer. There he is, coming up the hill, and Dino 420 fam is going to be third. It's then Donny, mate, up into fourth.
Milligains has picked up another time penalty.
Apache in fifth, Nick Magoo in sixth, Creole Boy in ninth. Suicide 5 gets past the both of them on penalties. Here comes Darkness, and he gets fastest lap. That might get beaten, it might not. And he gets up into the top 10 based off of those penalties. Milligains is going to bring it home in 11th.
He might lose out here.
Absolute fastest lap.
Oh, wow. Flourish Expire loses it across the line.
Flourish's car has expired across the line there, mate.
Absolutely it has.
Yeah, so Milligains ahead of Dirty Orange, ahead of Flourish, ahead of Absolute, who took the fastest lap there. M. Stone, can he take the fastest lap? No, he can't. Can Fury do it here? He won't get a point for finishing in 15th. He might get one for the fastest lap, and he does. So he will get one solitary point. But well done to Tab.
Oh.
He deserved that. And get your driver of the day votes in, guys. There is the form in the chat. Have your say. We'll have a chat to them as well as the top three here. But there they go, the top three on the podium. Tab's like, you hear that? You see that? Yeah, I won, baby.
Well, mate, it has to be said that one of the drivers with the jump start penalty at the start of the race, Suicide 5, he got back to 7th position. So that's a really, really good effort from him to finish the race as high as he did.
A great drive from Donny from 18th, mate, to 4th.
Yeah, absolute stonker of a drive.
Same as Dino, same as Apache, same as Suicide 5. All these guys had great recovery drives there. But I think Tabbed, he had the best pace out there today, and he probably deserved to win the race. And fortuitously, or just because of a mistake from Milligains, he got the lead without having to put up a fight there. And that's not what the stat sheets or the history books will say. All it will say is Tabbed won here in Portugal.
Well, mate, it's also worth mentioning. We've mentioned a couple of weeks now that McLaren have needed some decent results, and a decent result they've got here tonight. Donny with that absolutely phenomenal drive from 18th to finish 4th. That's a big haul of points in itself. But Nick Magoo's come from 12th to finish 8th. And that's not a bad haul of points either. So they're well and truly fighting with Red Bull in the lower half of the constructors' standings at the moment. But those points are going to be absolutely precious in that fight.
Yes, they are, mate. So good points for both the Red Bull and the McLaren team there. So interesting. And one more time, driver of the day votes. Get them in, guys. I'd love to have a chat to whoever you guys vote for the driver of the day.
Was that the Zinger driver of the day?
Yeah,
I had to. I'm sorry.
You couldn't help yourself, could you?
Well, who could help themselves when talking about Zingers?
It's just a naughty topic.
So naughty. So we'll try and sum it up in a few words for you guys watching and playing along at home. Started on the full wets with what looked like an absolutely, we'll call an egg and egg. It was a disgraceful circuit at the start of this race. We went to Inters for the majority of it, and a few of those boys attempting the soft compound tyre at the end and got it all wrong. None more so than Milligains, who's probably cost himself the race win here tonight. Who knows if Tabbed could have got the move done? We will never know, but Milligains has cost himself what was P1, and really he wasn't really lighting up the timing screens before he got it all wrong and crashed into the pit wall, mate.
Yeah, it was the wrong call at the end of the day, and I think he was just pushing a little bit too hard to try and recover his mistake, but it was too little too late at that point, Moose.
Yeah, it certainly was. And we will get these podium sitters in here for a chat along with the driver of the day And if it is still open, don't forget to get your votes in for the driver of the day. We do love interacting with our viewers at home. So the vote, I'm pretty sure, is still up for a couple more seconds. So get your votes in now.
That is right, mates. And well, we might have to do it in reverse order here because we're still waiting on third and second. So let's start with first, mate. Tab, your second win here at OSRL, and well, it was a clinical performance, and well, I think you would have got him there regardless. But you take the win at the end of the 33 laps.
Yeah, mate. I was very disappointed with Silverstone and Hungary those last rounds, and yeah, I did a lot of practice this week to bounce back. But yeah, it was a great drive from Milligan's. He really showed good pace in the race. And it was really tricky as well with the traction zones out in the wet, and yeah, it's been fun, mate.
Yeah, that's it. And well, you had the pace in qualifying, and you looked like you had the best pace out on the circuit. You and Milligan's were flying out in front, just reeled back in by safety cars. But at the end of the day, you managed to pass him on what was lap 32.
Yeah, I didn't. I was never giving up track position there, even if the softs were quicker. Yeah, it was just. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Milligan's, but he'll bounce back, and he's a good driver. So, yeah, I'm just really stoked with the win.
Yeah, mate, and as you should be. So, congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Well done in commentary as well, boys. Right.
Thanks, mate.
And Moose, since we're doing reverse order, we'll move on to Nat Hammer, mate, in second. Take it away.
Yeah, Nat Hammer, it all strategically came together there for you at the end. A couple of penalties playing their part. Couple of people boxing for the softs at the end there. And was the track soft worthy, I guess? And tell us about your strategy towards the end of the race there.
Well, it was definitely a judgment call, and it was almost the opposite of Lando's call at Russia. The track was most definitely drying. Had it been 3 laps sooner, most definitely I think he would have picked, Milligan's would have picked probably the right time, but there's just not enough time late in the race to, 1, make up that many positions, and then 2, make up the delta. So I thought about it, and the second I saw the 2 leaders split, I said, no, I'm going to stay out, and then pretty much most people behind me stayed out as well. And it was very unlucky for a teammate to crash out. He had a very good drive through the field from what seemed like last burst to last to back up into the points. But it's good to be on the podium and get some consistent points in.
Yeah, that's exactly it, mate. Oh, sorry, Dees, go.
No. I was going to say, yeah, mate. Great drive from yourself. You almost had the best of Tab there on the restart.
I was happy. I was happy they didn't just walk away from me the whole race. I'm just like, bye guys. I got to give it a good old try, and so it made the end of the race pretty fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that action, mate. We love to see it, and I'm sure you enjoy watching that back. So cheers, mate. And on to Dino from 13th on the grid to the podium. Can't be disappointed with that one. Talk us through what happened out there.
It wasn't the best of qualifying again, but I don't know what's happening. It seems when I don't have a good qualifying, it all comes together in the race.
Something about that Ferrari, mate. It happens in Tier 1 as well.
Oh, that's true.
It's all right, mate. The opposite happens in Tier 3.
Come on, what are you doing?
But yeah, it looked like you had good pace. You just in those wet conditions, you just couldn't pass people in front of you, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, it all worked out for you quite nicely.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, it was a bit hard getting past. I think it was Flourish there for a bit and Stoney. But no, that second safety car come out, I was able to make the most of it, get a couple of overtakes, and then Hamish going in for softs, which was unfortunately the wrong call to make. But end of the day, it all worked out.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I'm sure it wasn't really that unfortunate for you, but unfortunate for him.
Yes.
onwards and upwards, and we'll see you back on track next week, mate, for Belgium.
Definitely
ahead of
will.
The summer break,
Ooh.
or the winter break, or whatever you want to call it. The week off.
Keen.
Keen, mate. Absolutely. So we'll see you then.
Will do.
And finally, driver of the day, Donnie. I've just seen the photo of what's happened to your rig, mate. How the hell did you manage to bring that home in 4th place?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just don't know what happened there. It sort of collapsed, and somehow I just kept going.
Lying on the floor, mate.
Yeah, it wasn't very comfy, that's for sure.
You're
What have I missed?
converted to the formula position.
Yeah, well, I was already in the formula position, but it just made it even more formula.
Oh, I love it, mate. Yeah, well, from the back of the grid, were you from the back of the grid?
18th.
Yeah, 18th. Yeah. To come home in 4th, what a drive! And you didn't make the mistake of coming in for the softs, whereas others sheepishly followed in, and it promoted you up to 4th place. Some good points for you and the McLaren squad, much needed.
Yeah, that's it. We needed a few points, and Nick Magoo had a good race as well, so that's good points for both the team there.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we love to hear. We don't want to see teams struggling, so good on you and the McLaren boys tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Well, Moosey, that was action-packed.
Wasn't it?
It
It
was
was,
beautiful.
We had a little rain, we had a lot of rain, and we had some very wrong strategic calls. So a little bit of everything, but it's been a very, very action-packed race indeed.
We had some wrong calls here in the box, just of a different magnitude, mate. But we're
Did
just
we?
having fun. No, we're not wrong calls. We're just speaking absolute garbage, as always.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
We love it. So, from everyone here at OSRL, we appreciate everyone tuning in for this
Absolutely.
Tier 2 action. Back on track tomorrow night here at the Algarve International Circuit will be Tier 1, the best of the best here in OSRL. And then we, next week, turn our heads to Belgium, to Spa. What a beautiful circuit
Love
that
it,
is.
I love it, I love it.
And round 11, the halfway point ahead of our mid-season week off, Moosey. And it's going to be all action, I suspect, there in Spa and tomorrow night here in Portugal. But I've been Sandeezy with Moose, and we appreciate everyone coming out, and we hope everyone has a good one. We'll see you soon for another OSRL stream. Cheers.
Bye.
Hello, Fury.
Oh, Venti, what the fuck do you want?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, mate, how are you?